What's up, everybody? Josh, the coach. I am the self-proclaimed pinnacle of the armchair quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. Unaffiliated and self-proclaimed as always. It's Monday. The Browns played yesterday. I typically don't do reaction videos or game takes until the following day because I like to hear what the collective fan base has to say. And lots of times it's just hogwash, and no different would be the case this week. When the Cleveland Browns lost to the Atlanta Falcons. There is one culprit for the loss, in my opinion, and that is the defense, or the lack of defensive adjustment throughout the game. That is why the Browns lost the game. No other reason will suffice. If you say Jacoby Brissett lost the game, you are wrong. He started very accurate. He does the same thing that he's done the last 3 weeks, which is when he's operating within the game plan, he's a very efficient quarterback. He takes care of the ball, and he leads scoring drives. Again, scoring wasn't really an issue in this game. It was the defense. Yes, he threw an interception late. That is not within the game plan. That's when you have to rely on your quarterback to to take over the game, and that's not the person that Jacoby Brissett is. That's when he wins, or when the Browns win, you never have to see that part of the quarterback play where you have to take over a game and do a game winning drive. But when you're behind and you have to do some things you're uncomfortable with, that is when the cream rises to the top. And that's why Jacoby Brissett hasn't been a household name or a starter in this league. And that's because he's very safe. He takes care of the ball. He's a very good game manager. He's a very good, very efficient quarterback within the game plan. But doing anything outside of that, not always the best results, which has always been the case. It's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I go on record on saying that Jacoby Brissett is going to play the best football he's ever played, and so far I think he has. I know he has. So I'm not down on Jacoby Brissett. I'm just saying he's not that guy. He's not the guy that's going to go out there, put the entire team on his back, and win a football game. He is the guy that is very, very successful at running the game plan. So don't blame Jacoby Brissett. Don't blame Kevin Stefanski. Just because he went for it on fourth down on the first drive of the game, there's a reason why he does that. Number one, analytics is a very analytical play caller. Analytics tell you that you're going to go for it on fourth down and you're going to succeed more often than you fail. And when you do succeed, especially on the first drive of the game, you set the tone of that game, because you're basically saying, I don't give a crap what the Atlanta defense thinks they are, how good they think they are. We're going to disrespect you and shove it down your throat and come away with 7 points. You do that on the very first drive, and that sets the tone for the game, and you have a 7-point advantage. It's a very high reward scenario. The fact that it's the first drive of the game, and that if you fail, you still have 4 quarters to make up for that mistake, makes it a very low risk move to go for it on fourth down too. Now, again, all you other armchair quarterbacks out there who have never coached football in your life and you think that you know things and you really don't, with the benefit of hindsight, can look back and say, well, that's 3 points that we could have had, and that would have made the difference in the game. Perhaps, but you're wrong for blaming him for doing so, because you've never been in the situation. A head coach, or any play caller for that matter, throughout the course of a game has hundreds of decisions to make, whether or not to run or pass. If you decide to run or pass, which run, which pass, which run scheme, which pass scheme. There's hundreds of decisions to be made. And if you're going to put a win or a loss on a fourth down play call, you're just wrong for doing that. Especially, like I said, because you had 4 quarters to win that game. And you could have had your defense played defense, had your defensive coordinator made adjustments that didn't allow the offensive running backs of the Atlanta Falcons to run wild. 10 plays, 10 runs, and a score. If it's not enough that you didn't make any adjustments during that drive, then the next time that the Atlanta Falcons take the field, they do the same damn thing. So you didn't make any adjustments between the two, too. And if you look back, there was no personnel switching. The only personnel switching that was happening was because people were gassed or tired. There was no, personnel shifts as far as alignment goes. It was, we're going to run our defense, and we're going to run our defense, and we're going to run our defense. And then we get gashed, and guess what we're going to do? We're still going to run our defense. No, especially in a game where you have 3/4 of your defensive starters out, you have to go into that game knowing that you're going to have to make adjustments. This defensive unit has never been on the field before in any good capacity or any meaningful capacity, so you don't even know what you're going to get. So you have to go into this game knowing that eventually some shit's going to go down where I am going to have to make an adjustment on the fly in order to keep it from happening. That's what's going to happen, right? But no adjustments were made. You just ran the same Joe Woods defense over and over and over again. And then on top of that, cue the fourth quarter big pass play. It's happened 3 out of the last 4 games. When the team that we're playing against is down and trailing. Okay? So what does that tell you? It means that if you are in a situation where you're behind the Browns in the fourth quarter, feel free to pass at will because everybody has success doing it. If it happens one time, that might be a mistake. If it happens twice, it could be a coincidence. If it happens 3 times in 4 games, that's just who you are as a defense. You're not respectable in the pass game, especially in the fourth quarter. Okay? That is who lost the game. The defensive strategy, the defensive lack of corrections. And I got to put that on Joe Woods. All right. Now, I will say this. I'm going to contradict myself a little bit, but this is true 100% of the time. And it doesn't matter if you're talking pro football, college football, high school football, or Pop Warner football, or flag football in the 2nd grade. If you win a football game, everybody in the stands and everybody who's watching gives all the praise to the players. Think about our season. After I'm done making my point, and we'll go back to that again. When you lose, it is never the player's fault. It is always the coach's fault to the fans that are watching. So you armchair quarterbacks that are sitting in the stands or that are watching on your TV who see a loss and then blame the coach, it's a tired story. You've done it since the beginning of football. All right? Think about our season so far. You open up with a win against Carolina. Does Stefanski get any praise for that? No. Cade York gets all the praise because he hit the game-winning field goal. Then you lose to the Jets. And now Stefanski's got to go. Joe Woods has got to go. Stefanski's the worst play caller. He's the worst coach in the world. He sucks. Then you beat the Steelers. Does Stefanski get any credit? No. Jacoby Brissett's playing out of his mind. He's playing better than we've ever thought he would. Amari Cooper's going off. Nick Chubb's amazing. Stefanski didn't do anything, right? According to you. Now we lose to the Atlanta Falcons. And no, it's not the defense that should be criticized. It's not the fact that Amari Cooper only had 1 catch for 9 yards. That is, we have to make that the coach's fault. The coach lost the game. Stefanski is back on the chopping block because he lost the game. It's a tired story, and it's a tired trend that is, unfortunately, it's not going away anywhere. But just so you know, that's how it's going to be forever. If you're watching this video and you're wondering how the season is going to play out, pay attention. After a win, you'll talk about all the great plays the players made, and after a loss, the whole comment section, every Facebook fans page you'll see will be talking about getting rid of Stefanski. That's the way it is. It's the way it always will be. I'm telling you right now, Stefanski is a great coach. Do I need to remind you of Freddie Kitchens and Hugh Jackson and how discombobulated those teams felt like? How you couldn't get a playoff without a penalty? How you were going 3 and out more often than you were scoring, right? That's not the case with Stefanski. Stefanski has a very respected locker room right now. The locker room respects him. They are playing for him, and he has a very well-run organization. When somebody loses or when a team loses, why don't you look at the people who are on the field playing, right? Look at them. Offensively, we're fine. Yes, I'd like to see Amari Cooper be more involved in the game plan, but after back-to-back 100-yard games, I guarantee you the defense of the Atlanta Falcons had a game plan for him, and maybe, just maybe, that defensive game plan, because they get paid to stop the ball too, worked. right? But then you supplement it. You supplement it with passes to David and Njoku. You supplement it with your running game, and you supplement it with your defense. When you try to supplement that type of thing with your defense, and your defense lays an egg, that's what lost the game. That's all I have to say on the matter. Let me know what you think. It's not Stefanski's fault. It's not Brissett's fault. This is what Brissett is. This is what we need Brissett to be. We have to button it up with the defense. The defense is costing us games, period. End of story. Any other take is wrong. Bye.